God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Job Shop USA. My name is Keith, and I'm your host today. We're taking a little turn here. We're going to be working on my 2011 STS Cadillac front seat. We're going to repair the gearbox that elevates the front of the seat. It has a stripped out gear, so I'm going to pull the seat out and we're going to take apart the gearbox and we're going to repair the gear in that box. All right, let's get started. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole removal of a seat because there's a lot of videos that actually show this. But I bring the seat all the way forward because the one thing that you don't see too much of is this little hole in the opening, and then a little push lets you release your seat belt from the seat. Okay, then you take out your two screws. You got to reposition. I'll move this back here because I found that having it somewhat mid-range is a lot easier to take the seat in and out and do the pivoting, and you want to tilt it forward. Okay, I got to kill the battery because you got to let it drain for a little bit because there's an airbag on the side of the seat. All right, I just wanted to show you how to release that belt the easy way. We got the seat in here on the table so I could show you closer. Here's the hole I was reaching in to undo the seat belt, and inside here is this little housing, and you have this groove, so you're putting it in the hole and then you're pivoting it and you're pushing this little slide right here, and that just unclips the seat belt. It's that simple. We need to get to the bottom of the seat, so I'm going to angle it back, and maybe it's better from here. I just don't want to have to reach way over the table to get to it because we're going to be working right here. All right, and I can go ahead and I can angle this table a little bit. We're going to get you in here, and this is the gearbox for the forward lift. Here's the overview of what's underneath on your electric seats here. This motor here runs your travel forward and aft. This one here tilts the forward side. This one here tilts the rear side. It's just a cam actuated lever off of a rod that does the lifting, but there's a worm and ring gear in each one of these, and the ring gear in this one here is wasted out. On eBay you can get a rebuild kit and a little bit of lube. There's a roll pin in there. There's another C-clip because the shaft here actually is held in with the C-clip, and there's a little zip tie. I don't know what the zip tie is for, but they give it to you in here, and the lubrication is probably the most important thing. You could tell that somebody behind putting this online absolutely knows nothing about metal because they listed this as a brass gear, and I think anybody that can look at that and see that that is not a brass gear. This is a cadmium plated steel gear. And I confirmed that with a magnet. All right. But brass does not have a chromy look to every part of it like this. All right. Because that's not polished. That's just the rough surface. And that's the difference between a polished brass surface and a cadmium plated surface. Okay, regardless, this gear is going to be stronger than the plastic one in there. Okay, let's zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to show you, these motors are connected to these gearboxes by flexible lines. Okay, and there's four screws that hold the two gearboxes together. And we're going to be able to get to this gear and take this apart without dismantling the whole seat. First, we're going to pull these four screws here holding this out. As soon as we get it in the right direction. I'm not saying it's tight on space here. I got to get my fat head in here. Okay. Okay. I think I found it. Just unscrewing them with the socket was the way I could get my fingers on them. Okay, we did that. Now, because I'm experienced in this, let me back you back out because I brought you in just so you could see the gearbox and in that specific area with detail. Okay, get yourself a rag. Okay, one, you want to tighten it in this between the foam there, and then you want to drop another one down in here. In here is a thrust washer, and that thrust washer, I found it, and I had it in my collection. I didn't lose it until I was putting it back in. But of course, I was replacing the upholstery on the top piece here, and I did that afterwards. And when I pulled off my upholstery, I found that that washer had slipped down behind here and got into the upholstery side of the seat. Okay, you would have never found it if you never pulled the upholstery. All right. There's two, because I'm experienced, I went ahead and I just took the seat lower right off. There's two nuts here, and there's a series of plugs back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plugs, and you can go lay your seat top over in another area. There's just 2 hooks in the back, 2 screws, 2 nuts there. It's that simple to take it off. But I still put rags down around the bottom here so that if that little, I call it a washer, but it's actually like a little shim pad that fits in the bottom of the plastic for this thrust of that screw to set against. Okay, and then there's a washer on the top, and there's a pad. That's what we'll call it, a pad. So now, before I spread this apart, I want to go, because I want this freely to come right on out of here. There's a pin that goes across where it bolts to the arm that pivots the seat lift here. And it's just a little serrated I just didn't want it to go flying, okay? It's a little pin, and it has a serration on the head side. And that that holds that arm to it. Okay, now the gearbox is free to really flex around, and I'm going to go ahead and slide this part over here. Okay, and I can see the little washer in here. Let me see. I'm gonna get you a picture of that with my phone here. Okay, I had to get my pointer. Okay, now see that? That's the shim right there, and it's kind of angled down, and it goes against this little ball on the end of the shaft. I'm going to pull it out, but that's how it's positioned inside that part of the housing. So you can see why, if you don't catch that, and it is an important part, it has to thrust. On the top is the washer. This is the washer up here. Okay, so that thrusts the top side, and that pad down there thrusts the bottom side. This is the worm gear, and this big one here is the ring gear. The ring gear is on the shaft. Okay, and that's the one we're going to replace. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with this. So we still need to spread this apart, and we need to spread it that way. Now this is a flex shaft, so the shaft can flex a little bit, and you can get that gear out here. Now, since I put it back in there, it hasn't broke any more teeth, but I haven't moved it. Okay, you can see the 3 teeth that are broken off of there. Now, as that rotates, it moves this back and forth. All right, and you can see up in the top there, that's the keeper. So there's a collar and a ring, and then it has a C clip in there. So if you want to pull that whole screw out of there, you're going to have to undo that clip there, remove the C clip, and then it'll be able to go out the bottom. We only need to deal with this part of the shaft here, and I don't really need to mess with that clip if I can bring it up here, put this in the arbor press, press off that gear, press this one on, set it in, drill the hole through for the roll pin, and then reassemble it. The pitch angle looks comparable. The teeth quantity look comparable. The worm gears can be replaced as well. They've got a square drive through the middle of them. All right, this is what I was interested in. Yes, I actually have a good fit. This is that washer. We have to make sure that that stays down in this area so that it'll go up on and sit on the gear right here. So this roll pin is actually going to be on this end here. I'm looking at that ball. I don't know if that ball is turned in there or if that ball is pressed in there, but I hope the roll pin doesn't have any effect on that. The other thing is I'm going to take a quick dimension here and a quick dimension here and just make sure that I'm all 100%, and then I'm going to measure between here and there, or I'm going to scale off of here out to here with this Foley in the out position just like it is now, so that I can gauge this distance this way. All right, and it feels like the right diameter, and it feels like it's going to be a pretty good fit. Okay, I just stared down at the end of this now that I wiped the grease off of it, and see if you can see what I see. Right on the end here, there's 4 little stake marks. See if I can flex it to get the light right. Yeah. Okay. That's telling me that that ball is put into the cavity, and then it's staked on the outside, so that ball is sitting in a pocket. Oh, the roll pin that goes through there definitely got to be below the level of that ball. All right, let's go press a plastic piece off of here. We're over here getting ready to press this off. We measured the width of this. This gear width is 100 thousandths less than this gear width, and the overall length is 80 thousandths less here. We've taken a dimension from this face right here to the thrust face. We have that on record. So we're going to press this off of here, and then we're going to see what it's going to take for us to put this in the middle, how much we're going to have to increase this shim washer here, the location where that's going to be, and then drill it. Because the thrust is going to hold that gear in the center, and we want that gear to be in the center so that we're making the best contact on the worm. Okay, I think we got a good foot there. Let's see. Okay, how broke is too broke? All right, they have a sort of a threaded spiral knurled combination holding that whole piece on there. All right, we're going to slip this into the little lathe, and we're going to turn this diameter until we get it to size. All right, I took my snap gauge and went inside the bore of the new gear, and we're at 339. 339, and I'm going to see what I can get just over the end of this thing here, this one. So we got a visual actually to take looking at it, and it's like 337. No, I take that back. We're at 341. It's actually held on there pretty good if I'm able to take that little chunk and actually turn that. We're actually turning the diameter. And it just barely hung on there, so. Okay, I don't have any feed in here, so I'm gonna see what I got here. Let's get it going in the right direction. And okay. You know, that thing really wasn't going to go anywhere. They make those things to stay on there pretty tight. So right off the bat, those people know that you're going to have to take this diameter down and machine this diameter so before you put a gear on. So the average person is going to be stuck with a grinder or something and grinding these on down the size here. All right, I got to take a measurement here so I can put something in the readout. Okay, we'll say 421. All right. $398 on my screen, so we're doing good. All right, let's take it on down to 380. $360. Okay, that completely took our plastic off of here. A little bit of remnants here, but it's loose on here, so we can take an X-Acto knife and cut that, or wait till we're down the size and slip that off of there. Okay, that was 345. I got 344 on. I think it's going to be pretty close to that diameter we see there. Okay, here's 340. Okay, just barely started skipping on there. Almost feels like it would press on there, but I want to make sure that we get a good easy feel on there, and we're gonna have to make up a, okay, there's all the plastic. We're gonna have to make up a shim washer before we put this on here and made it. So I'm just gonna take the file and clean that up a little bit. A little bit of paper. Okay, I like that fit. We'll have to even push it a little bit farther than that. I'm just a little stuck on that end right there. I like that. Okay, we're going to take some dimensions here and we're going to figure out what we want for a shim, and we're going to machine that shim, and then we can go ahead and set this up in the mill and we'll drill that hole. I found that a piece of 1/2 inch schedule 40 pipe is the right size to make this ring without having to bore a piece of material, so I'm going to take it. All right, just a little bit of a skim on the outside here, and we'll have a good diameter. We figured the thrusts just need to be made up the difference between the width of the gear, which was 100, so half of it's 50, and the original gear is 32 thousandths, so we're figuring we're going to part one off at 82 thousandths on the thickness here. All right. All right, we set that edge flush with the end, and we come over 82 thousandths. We're going to need a little bit of cutting oil. Okay, almost ready to break through. Pretty warm. Okay, I'm at 75, 76. I'll take it. Okay, I'm getting ready to drill for the roll pin. So let's put in their supplied drill here and let's see how it rotates. You know what? I've seen better. All right. But I have a pretty good quality 1/8 inch drill bit that I kind of like, and you know, sometimes they put something in a kit to think you're getting something. We're pretty well set. We have our shim on here, so now we just need to tap this into position. So with this unscrewed all the way, the distance between the shoulder and the face, the thrust face over here, was 2 inches 671. We add 50 thousandths to that so that we know where it's at in relationship to the shim thickness that we increased right here, so that that gear will move over. We got to set that distance at 2 inches 721. So with the edge of our vise here and kind of holding it, I can take my calipers and check in between here. 2/800, so we need to come in some more here. So I'm just lightly tapping this because it's a firm 277. $2,760, $2,750, 2735, about another 10 thousandths. $2724. I'm gonna go just a little bit. No, I'm gonna leave it right there. We're a little bit shy. Remember, we were a little shy on the washer thickness, so I think the overall span between the ball and that is going to be much closer to left right there. I'm happy with that. That's where we're gonna drill the pin in, and our stick out of the end of the shaft actually shows us the difference in relationship, because the overall length was also shy by 30 thousandths, and a combination of that change and the change that we had to move this shows I'm happy with it. All right, we're already halfway in the middle of that diameter. I measured it. That hub is 1/2 inch. All right, I'm gonna go get my needle nose pliers and a little hammer. I'm gonna leave that exactly like that. I'm just gonna move it over to the side here. Awesome, looks good. Okay, the dry fit up fit good, and I've got that pad down in here, and I've got it full of grease. So now we're just sliding this ever so carefully until we get the halves to go together. All right, we just got it to snap in there. And there is. We can feel a little bit of backlash in here. We can't feel none in here. So we've got it in pretty good shape there. Okay, we're screwing this back down so that we can get our hole aligned here in this piece here. And right there, looks good. Okay. We're gonna put our spacers back in here. This is all before we tighten it down. We just want to make sure. Now, I believe one of these was a little longer than the other, and the longer one went in there and the shorter one went out here. All right, nice and easy, little side travel. All looking good. All right, I'm gonna get my knips that will squeeze that. We got them all the way in. We're gonna have to tap it the rest of the way. All right, there we go. All right, we're just gonna give it a once over, and we'll be ready to put the cushion back on. I didn't show you how I pulled it off, but I show you how I'm putting it back on. Here's the two tangs that actually fit into the bottom of the seat here. You've got to connect these plugs here to the various plugs. So there's two small ones, and then these all plug into this driver positioner module is what it's called. All right, so we get that kind of started in there, and then we're just reaching in here, and we're going to put all the plugs back together here. Well, you got that one. You got that one. And then you got a series that goes in here. That one. That one. That one. That one. That's as simple as it is. So those are the only things that you had to plug in there. Okay, and then you bring it forward till you got your two nuts here in the front. And you're just making sure that all of this is able to flex around. I kind of like that. All right. All right, our seat is back together, and we only have the plugs that go with the seat side panel and the ones when plug into the car. Perfect. Okay, the rear lift, we're going to get the gear in that one next, but for today and our trip, I think I'm going to be happy with just having the front leg lift underneath my legs here, and we'll be good. Well, that was fun, and it got me warmed up because I put the seat back in and I noticed the rear up and down wasn't working, and I went ahead and I checked out the passenger seat, and the forward's working, but the rear's not in it as well. So I'm going to order up 2 more gears. I have a second gear to do the second seat there, and when I get more time and I'm not pressured to be ready for a trip, I'll go ahead and get into the other 3 gearbox rebuilds, and then we'll just we'll get cruising. All right, until next time, thanks for visiting Job Shop USA. Get her done.